Hey, this is Chris from Rekkid Talk with another episode of their latest Rekkid is Great. And so, who I'm going to be talking about this week is the English singer-songwriter Laura Kidd, who is putting out albums under the name Penfriend. And so, this is her new album released just a couple of weeks ago here in 2021. This album is called Exotic Monsters. And so you can see pretty cool artwork on the front. So that's sort of that's kind of what she looks like. She's blonde, and she's talked about a lot about sort of her ambivalence with sort of our super connected digital internet world. So you can see there's like a tear from her eye. She's got like an old school phone. The cord is cut. Notice that the world is on fire there in the background. And so a little bit of information about her. This is the only record of hers I have. She's basically kind of a one-woman band, writes her own material, self-produces, does almost all the instruments, maybe a few people visiting. This is the first album that she's released under the Penfriend name. Her previous albums had been released under the name She Makes War. And then just to show you the vinyl, I got the Sunshine Yellow vinyl. I'll throw in a link. I know that in an email I got from her that the supply of her vinyl is getting very short. And there is your track listing. And Exotic Monsters is a very good record. Very good. And who's going to like this material? Basically, if you like sort of your alternative indie female singer-songwriters, so like the people from the 90s that, I talk about, Juliana Hatfield, Tanya Donelly, Liz Phair, that sort of thing, or maybe the sort of the newer breed, your Phoebe Bridgers, Julian Baker, those sorts of people. If you're fans of that, I think you would be a fan of Laura Kidd and Penfriend as well. Um, and again, the record label is My Big Sister Records, which is recordings, which is literally her own label. And she works and promotes pretty hard. Again, I think I'll throw it in the link. If you sign up for her mailing list, she'll send you 2 free song downloads. So those are a couple extra tracks that aren't on the album. I'll be honest, I don't think those, even though those tracks were enough for me to investigate further and eventually buy the album, I don't think they're as good as most of the tracks that are actually on the album. But I think there's a lot of good synthesizer work. It's not as guitar heavy as like a Hatfield, for example. But um, and again, it's sort of moody, contemplative sorts of music. And as I said, if you sign up for her email list, she actually sends lots of emails. I think that's sort of her shtick, is that she wants to kind of have conversations with her fans. She's pretty active on her Twitter account. Um, I don't do Facebook, but I don't know if she's a Facebook person as well. I think she has an Instagram. I haven't really checked out her Instagram. But she also has a podcast, and I'd actually listened to an episode of her podcast, I think like a year ago. Her very first episode was with Tanya Donelly, that I had bumped across and listened to. I think it was even before I was aware of the fact that she was a recording artist. Her very latest one is with Juliana Hatfield, so I keep mentioning her. That's literally a podcast that came out a few days ago. And she's done a lot of other musicians along the way as well, like Corin Tucker from Slater Kinney. Probably going to do a Slater Kinney ranking the albums in the future. Several others. Lou Barlow, who's another favorite of mine. Apparently, her podcast with him is going to go up in a couple weeks. It hasn't been posted yet. So that's my recommendation for the week. Exotic Monsters by Penfriend, which is the alias for Laura Kidd. So talk to you next time.